Greetings, friends and familiars. This is Matt Orozco here from Macabre Daily. And as I was just gushing over Daniel here to telling him how much I love Deathstalker, I'm here with Daniel Bernhardt, who is an actor and a stuntman who's appeared in some of the most badass films known to mankind. And I know this is true because I actually had our scientists run the math on this, and they determined that it is, in fact, you've been in some of the best and coolest movies ever, like Bloodsport 2, Matrix Reloaded, John Wick, Nobody, and of course, Deathstalker, which we're here to talk about today. So, Daniel, I am humbled to be in your presence and thank you for taking some time.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, I'm going to get ready to my first question for you. It's just, your history with the Deathstalker series. What does this mean to you? Were you a fan of the original films or the sword and sandal genre as a whole?
So I love the whole genre. I'm an 80s kid, I love those kind of movies. And when I got the call from my producer Michael, who said, "Hey Daniel, we're remaking Deathstalker. Would you be interested?" And I said, "Of course. I love the franchise." And then he introduced me to the director, Steven. And when Steven got on the phone, he was like, "Hey Daniel, I really like you from Mortal Kombat Conquest, and I would love for you to play Deathstalker." I was like, "I'm in." And he goes, "Well, don't you want to see the script?" I said, "No, no, 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 I'm in. I'm in. Sign me up. I'm done." And he goes,
Easy
"Well,
sell.
easy sell." And he pitched me the idea of what he wanted to do. He talked about the practical effects and the monsters, and I checked out his movies, and I was like, crazy. But like you, I was actually blown away when I saw all the monsters, what he did. And that's all Steven.
Right.
Steven builds Steven and his team, they build each single monster, each background they paint. I
It's
mean,
old school.
it's old school. I was blown away. There is no CGI. There is everything. There's stop motion in the movie, which I love. There is practical effects. There is, and you know what? By the way, I love all the matte paintings he did.
Yes.
Isn't that
Well,
cool?
the landscape, there's a part where you're going through like a marsh, right? And it's just like
Yeah. And
you're,
then the
you know,
guys fighting in the back, those two big monster guys fighting like this. I was like, and he actually told me that when we were shooting the scene, when me and Christina were walking through the woods, and he goes, "Oh, walk! I'm gonna have these two monster guys in the back fighting," and I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that's great." And then I saw it, and I went like, "Wow,
wasn't kidding.
wow!" I mean, I was like, "Wow, that's incredible. That's some of my favorite stuff he did. I mean, just incredible."
He really is an impressive guy. And I remember when I spoke to him last year, he told me, I like to make movies. He's like, I want to make the movies that I want to see. And I think that that is really like I think that speaks to the variance in his take on genre films. He's done so many. He's done a cosmic horror film. He's got a little stinker movie from Frankie Frico. He's got Deathstalker, and you are as by trade, an actor, and you do a lot of stunt work. So I know you probably keep yourself in really good shape to begin with, but I'm wondering what kind of preparation you had to do to fill the role.
For Deathstalker, so like you said, I'm always training is something I've done my whole life. I know nothing different. I train with a company called 8711. I train every day, and we do our sword fighting, we do our martial arts. But for this film, I stopped the martial arts because I wanted to gain size. So
Yeah.
I did heavy bodybuilding. I just wanted to get as big as I could. I upped my diet, I ate more protein, and I gained about 10 pounds. And it was it
Wow.
was really cool because I wanted this guy to be big. I mean, not like an Arnold because I can't do that, but Conan is one of my favorite movies, and I watched Deathstalker too. I mean, the guy was in incredible shape, so I just wanted to be
Right.
as fit as possible, which I did. And then my secret was on set, I would just pump all the time. I had weights
So
on
you
set,
always look kind of
and I always said, "Guys, give me a 5 minute warning." I'd be like, "Rah," do my push-ups. I put like some tan on myself and I looked really good. And I got to give a shout out to the makeup department. They really took care of me. They
well, I
really
mean,
did.
they had a good start canvas to work with, Daniel. So,
Thank you.
you look great in the film, you perform great. You are the Deathstalker for in perpetuity now. And
Thank
when
you.
you think about the production, considering how many practical effects and stunt work there is, what was one of the most challenging parts for you, and then also one of the most rewarding?
You know, um, I think one of my favorite parts was the opening because the first scene we shot in the film was actually the opening when I do the fight scene against the Dreadites. That was the first day of shooting.
Wow.
So we rehearsed it for like a week. We rehearsed the whole fight scene. We wanted to kind of do it as a oneer with maybe one or two cuts. And nobody really knew what to expect. We didn't really know how the Dreadites are going to work, with the suits. There's real guys in those suits.
Right.
And when we rehearsed it, there were no suits. So everything was a little faster. Then once the guys were in the suit, it was like, that's hard to move. And these guys did awesome. A lot of my friends came in. My buddy Lee and Shane choreographed the fights. That was one of my special moments because it was the first day and we knocked it out of the park and everybody just went like, wow,
Kind of
we
set the
got
tone.
something here. They picked this most incredible location. RDP Andy shot it. He put these special filters on it and he showed me from the very beginning how it's going to look. So it gave me an idea in what world I'm in. And then Steven with his monsters and the way he directed me, I think from the very beginning, from the first day, we all knew we have something special here, something very unique.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm going to be at Fantastic Fest in a couple weeks or in a week, and I'm going to see this in a theater with people because I want to see that reaction that people, because this is such a movie that you do need to see in a crowd, especially one that wants to love and appreciate genre films. And I think a lot of people are aware of stunt work, but they don't really know too much about behind the scenes. So, what's something that you think most people should know that they probably don't about stunt work and stunt acting?
So I, I'm very lucky at what I do. I'm kind of like dancing between both worlds, acting and stunts. I love the acting world. I love the stunt world. What a lot of people don't know is how much training there goes into the stunt world, what we do. Like when we do fight scenes, we don't just show up on set and do it. We train for weeks. We train for weeks on those fight scenes. They're choreographed. They're they're pre-shot. We do previses. We show it to the director. Same on this movie. Me and my guys, we shot the previs for the fight scene, and then we showed it to the director, and then he gives his comments, and we go change it. And that's what a lot of people don't understand how much work goes into that.
Yeah.
Hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine, Paul Dreschel Martel, does some stunt work, and he was telling me about just some of the things we see, right? When someone gets slammed or someone gets pulled across a room, they're actually attached to something and they're getting slammed into a wall. And like you don't see, we don't see that because we're seeing the final cut where, everything's kind of edited out and it makes it look real, real nice. But yeah, I think the intensity of that experience is something that's hard to fully understand without knowing kind of what goes on behind it. And my last question is kind of I always like to think of it as a fun one, but it can be a little difficult, I've been told. So if you were asked to put together a double feature and Deathstalker is one of the films, what do you think would make a great companion piece to go alongside it?
Conan,
Destroyer or Barbarian?
barbarian.
I'd agree with you. I mean, Destroyer's fun, but Barbarian is just it's classic. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
music, James Earl Jones. It's
yeah. Yeah, that would be awesome.
I think that'd be a double feature I'd see in a heartbeat, and I think a lot of people would too. Because
Yeah.
again, Daniel, you bring an intensity and a charisma to the character that
Thank
I
you.
think we don't often get a lot because we don't get a lot of these sword and sandal films as much as we used to. And yeah, I hope that this will bring a revitalization of that work and that kind of genre. But if anything else, you all put one hell of a film together. And
I
so,
appreciate it. And we got to let the people know that this movie plays in theaters, and that's really important. We need the support of everybody. Watch it in theaters October 10th, and then we can do a second one.
yes, I mean, we can add to the Deathstalker pantheon with more sequels. And Daniel, I hope you stick around as long as possible. We can keep getting you returned to the role. So people, October
Appreciate it.
10th, Shout Studios, go see this in the theater with people. You're going to have the best time ever. And Daniel, it's been an amazing conversation with you. I wish you all the best success with this film and everything else. And I will be hooting and hollering at Fantastic Fest next week
Well,
in
I
the
see you
crowd.
there.
I'll be there. Thank you,
I'll see
Daniel.
you there. Bye.